I choose to keep my children's wardrobe simple for two reasons. One, because it saves me a ton of money. Having simple wardrobe means we don't buy as much clothing. And two, because the less we have, the easier it is for me to keep up on things like laundry, maintaining their clothes, and just keeping things organized. So, the less we have, the less we have to maintain. Today, we are going to be talking about how you can simplify your children's wardrobe. It's the perfect time of the year to be talking about this because if you're like me, the weather is kind of starting to transition here, and you're probably going to be putting away your summer stuff, pulling out your fall and winter stuff, and now is the perfect time to set yourself up for success in maintaining simple and minimal wardrobe for your children. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bella. If you guys are new here, this is Life Made Simple, where we talk about all things organization, decluttering, cooking, and simple living. Maintaining simple wardrobe for our children can definitely be tricky. It definitely takes effort to keep our wardrobe for our children simple. Like one trip into Target and you can blow your entire plan because everything can be so cute and we can think that our children need all the cute and pretty things. If you are like many people these days, you might just start shopping knowing that there are things that your children need, quote unquote, but you don't really go through and do the proper work to decide exactly what their needs are. So every year about this time of the year, I begin to go through my 5 steps that I do to kind of prepare my children for the changing of the season, the changing of the sizes, and just making that transition in their wardrobe. And making sure that I don't overdo it because there have been years in the past that I have overdone it, and when that happens, their closets are just jam-packed. Their drawers are overflowing and it's not easy for them to get dressed. It's not easy for us to maintain laundry. You would think that it would mean that if you have more clothes, you would have to do less laundry, but really, it's the opposite because the more clothes you have, the less often you feel like you need to do laundry. And then that laundry becomes like a monster pile, bigger and bigger, and that is overwhelming. So my suggestion is to keep things simple. So let's start with going through my 5 suggestions on how you can maintain a simple wardrobe for your children. My first tip is to make a list. Ask yourself, how many t-shirts do my children need? How many long sleeves do they need? How many shorts, pants, and make a list to see what you actually need. Everybody is going to be different in this. Maybe your children have to attend daycare and they need to dress in a little bit of nicer clothes on a regular basis. Or maybe your children attend a private school and go year-round, so they need more like uniform rather than playful clothes. For us, my children attend private schools, so they need uniforms. So our needs really are mostly uniform type of clothing. So they need 10 to 12 pants, 10 to 12 short polo shirts, 10 to 12 long sleeve polo shirts, some casual outfits to go out, a few PJs, some swimsuits, and that's pretty much it. We keep it really simple. Obviously, if you have a little girl, you might add in a few little dresses, a few skirts, but really maintaining simple wardrobe makes life so much easier. Really decide what your family needs. Don't base these numbers off of what my family does. Base it on what your family needs. Decide those needs and think about that I can always add to this if I ever needed to. You're better off to go on the lower end of your numbers because you can always fill in the gaps if you need it as the winter goes on. So my next tip is to take inventory. See what you already have. So there are some years that my kids just grow like weeds, and we need to buy an entire new wardrobe. But a lot of the times, my kids have not necessarily grown up. Rather, they have grown outwards, if you know what I mean. So sometimes we have a lot of things that will still fit, and rather than go and think that we need all of these new clothes and buying the next size up, I like to just go through and take inventory. It might mean that I have my kids try everything on, especially the items that they haven't worn for a while. So that gives me a baseline of what we already have, so that I can take my list that I have created and check it off. Like if I ever need 12 t-shirts and my kids already have 8 that fit them well and look like it would fit them throughout the rest of the year, then I only need to get 4 or about 3 to 4 more t-shirts. So all of a sudden, that 12 item list doesn't seem so overwhelming. My third tip is to already shop what you already have. If you are like me, then you keep hand-me-downs. I think a lot of time when you talk to people who are a little bit minimal, they maybe don't keep hand-me-downs. I am not one of those people. I love hand-me-downs. I have kept hand-me-downs for my girls. They are 3 years apart and one is 5 years apart with my youngest. And I put them in my bins to save them in my storage. I am very picky in what I keep, and I have limit myself to 1 bin per size of clothing, and I take inventory of what is in there, because hand-me-downs can be a really big blessing if you have lots of children. Even if you only have 2 children, they are a huge blessing. I usually have about 75 to 80% of what my little ones already need because of my hand-me-downs. It is very rare for me to have to shop for more than a few things for them for each season. So I really do think if you have the space in your home, whether that it's in your attic or your garage or basement, to keep hand-me-downs. Limit yourself. You don't have to keep everything. Keep the very best. And don't keep 30 t-shirts in one size. That's not necessary. That's not realistic. That's not something that you are actually going to use. But pick the ones that are your favorite. Pick the ones that are in really good condition and save those. And limit yourself to 1 tub or a little, maybe a shelf in your basement or garage where you can store your hand-me-downs. And I promise you, they will be a huge blessing. So my 4th tip is to create your shopping list. This is the list that you are going to use as you go over for the next few weeks or months to fill in those gaps. So you're going to take your main list that you're going to have, subtract what you already own, if it fits still from last year, and what you have in your hand-me-downs bin, and make your list out of that. All of a sudden, those big numbers that you made in the beginning, they are not nearly as big as they once were. So your shopping list is going to be fairly small. And I always like to err in the side of less, because once you buy something, you own it. It's yours, money spent, the space is taken up, and you can always go back again in a few months if you realize we need a couple of more t-shirts or we need another pair of shorts. You can always fill in those gaps, but once you spend the money, it is gone. And the space in your closet and the space in your drawers is taken up. So stay on the side of less and then fill in the gaps if you need to, but I bet you probably won't. And then my last tip is shop. So I like to, once I create my list, I like to look and see what stores are going to have sales. And then once I have my list, I can be picky about where I go and when I shop. It's not like I feel I am in a hurry, especially because a lot of the time I already found things that are going to work. If we have those seasonal warmer or colder days, I already know that there are at least a few things that my kids can wear. I don't feel this massive rush to get out and shop for them. So I can be really picky about when I shop and where I shop and find good deals. So I like to watch Target will always have 10 of 40 for kids clothing, or they might have like 20% off for the kids clothing. I also like Old Navy, Kohl's, TJ Maxx. I feel like I can find good deals that are decent brand clothing that will last through. And shopping with a list is the key. I like to keep my list in my phone, so just on my notes app, I will keep a list of the things that my kids need. Then, as I am out shopping and running errands, if I have a chance to run into the store and I know that there is a sale going on, I can pull out my list and actually see what is needed, rather than going in, seeing all the cute stuff, and feeling like I need to add everything to my cart, because it all is going to look really cute and adorable on my kids. Instead of that, I am going in with this list. I am very focused. I am very diligent to stick to the list because I am not wasting money and not wasting space. So that is how I go about shopping for my children as the season changes. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope these tips kind of helped you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.